Hi everyone, welcome to Nafi's Kitchen. So today we have a very popular dish in our culture, and it's called, in the Oromo culture, and it's called Hulbat Marakh. So the first step with Hulbat Marakh, it's all in the onions, and right now we are cutting the onions. So we're cutting them very, very small, dicing them. Now, today we are just making a very small amount. Therefore, we are just cutting the onions by hand. However, if you were making a larger portion, it's best to use a food processor to cut your onions. So, but for today, we are just using, we're just cutting it manually and just kind of dicing it as small as we possibly can. And so we use about 3 onions. So this is just a very, it's going to be a small portion. We'll show you each step by step. So come along with us. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Like the video, and click on the notification. Okay, everyone. So we are now, we just added the tomatoes. So essentially what happened is the onions that we had cut up has finished its water. So now we added some tomatoes. This is before we add the oil, so and all the other ingredients. But step 2 is just cutting up, dicing some tomatoes up and adding it in with the onions. And now the tomato, of course, will have its own juices, so it's going to just cook together for a very little bit, and then we're going to be adding the oil and then showing you all the next steps. Okay, guys, so now we are ready to put in the next ingredients. So right now, this is after about half an hour of cooking the onions and tomatoes, and the next step is going to be adding in the oil and all the other ingredients. So you'll be able to see exactly what we're doing. So just put a good amount of oil in there, not too much, of course, but enough, so it can cook very well. And then we're gonna put 2 tablespoons of barbare, which is chili pepper. So it's dried up rounded chili pepper. It's like a paprika, spicy, very spicy. So we're gonna give that a good stir, and then we're gonna add some garlic. Now, this is just a garlic paste we pre-prepare. Essentially, it's grounded in a food processor, blender, and it's garlic with a little bit of ginger and some salt and oil, and you just grind it up, and you can freeze it and use it as desired for each of your meals. Now, some people, and we do sometimes also add coriander, to it as well. So it's really what your preference is, but right now this is just garlic, some ginger, salt and oil frozen, and then we take it out and use it as this. So the next item here is spices, a blend of spices, and we're gonna put 2 tablespoons of that. And essentially this is cumin, coriander, and cardamom seed, as well as black pepper, and it's grounded up together. And we also pre-do that. We have it ready, and we use it as desired as well, because most of the meals and dishes that we cook actually require that seasoning. It gives it that flavor, that distinct flavor that we have. Now we're also adding some salt. So we are going to just give this a good stir. We have it on a between high and medium temperature. And what we're gonna do right now is just stir that up a little bit and close it, put the lid on, and have it simmer for a little while. Now, while we do that, we are going to get the meat, and the meat is also one of the ingredients of this dish, of course, meat and potatoes. And right now what we're gonna do is we washed the meat. So the meat was washed with some warm water, and we're just putting it into water again, and we're gonna put it on the stove, just let it come to a very small boil, just to further cleanse it and pre-cook it as well a little bit. so the meat gets to be nice and tender, and then we'll be able to show you once it's ready, when we add it into our stew. Okay? Okay, perfect. So now it is time for the hulbata powder. So hulbata is actually, it's a powder and it's a flavoring that you put in. So it gives it its distinct taste. So we're putting 4 tablespoons of the powder in, and we're just gonna stir it in. So that's the onions and tomatoes and with the oil and all the seasonings that we had put in after about 20 minutes of cooking, about half an hour actually. And now we put the hulbata powder, so it gets it getting a little bit thick. We put 4 tablespoons, and that's what gives it its flavor. So it's that powder. Okay, so right after you put the hulbat powder in, we're gonna put about 3, maybe 4 cups of water, hot water. If you can also boil the water before you put it in, or you could just use hot tap water. Either one will work, and this is so everything cooks in together, because the sauce, the gravy part, is to be a little bit thinner. So we don't want it to be too thick, but we don't want it to be too watery either. So about 4 cups for this size pot is good. And we're gonna stir it up a little bit, and we're gonna close it, put the lid on, and then we are going to let it simmer for about another half an hour or so. Half an hour, we'll check on it, and then maybe another half an hour, and then we're going to be adding the meat in. So this is the meat boiled, and we have turned it off now. So we're just going to rewash it with some fresh water. Dump this old water out, wash it with the fresh water, get all the excess out, and then we are going to be and then we're going to be adding the meat in about probably about 45 minutes. So we're going to let the stew cook well together for about 45 minutes or so. We're going to check on it in about half an hour, and then we're going to go ahead and add the meat in. And the potatoes is actually the last step. Okay everyone, so this is almost a finished product. We had just put the potatoes in, and we're gonna let it cook for probably another about 15 minutes. They're not too big, they're smaller size potatoes, but the steam will do the rest of the cooking. So about 15 minutes left on about medium, and then we're gonna let the steam cook the rest of the way. But the meat is pretty much done, and it was nice and tender. As you've seen earlier, we did pre-boil it a little bit, and it's been in here for about 45 minutes. So it is, the meal is complete, almost. So this is Hulbat Marakh, and this is what the final product is going to look like. And you just put it over injera or bidena, also known as, or you can have it with bread if you prefer as well. So it just really depends on your preference, but generally it is eaten mainly with injera. Okay everyone, so now this is finished. So it's been about half an hour since we put the potatoes in. Everything is cooked to perfection. As you can see, the sauce is nice and light. It's not too watery, but it does need to be a little lighter for this meal, and everything is ready and cooked to perfection. So we are turning off the pot right now, and it will be ready to eat in just about 10 minutes. We're gonna let it cool down and let the steam kind of cook the rest of that potato there and get it a little softer and more tender, and it's ready to eat. So we hope that you learned from this video, and don't forget to give us a big thumbs up, hit that notification bell, and hit that subscribe button to see more videos. Thank you.